Hello everyone! Does it seem familiar? You sit down to do a task and then you have a message or a phone call or a colleague's request, and then after a while you think, oh my god, I spent so much time on this task. Why haven't I finished it? Well, we've all been there. It's frustrating, we blame ourselves for being unproductive and even lazy. In fact, laziness, or incompetence, or even procrastination may have nothing to do with that. In this video, I'll be talking about the secret, underrated factor of productivity: focus. Watch this video till the end if you want to know 7 ways how to improve your focus and hence productivity. And before we dive into 7 ways to better focus, I have a favor to ask. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I will greatly appreciate that. Alright, when I talk about productivity, I usually think about 2 phases: prepping and doing. Prepping is preparing to do the task. So that's getting clarity, what do you have to do, why, and how. And the second one is planning, figuring out in which time frame that's going to be done. And the second phase is doing, which is actual work. It's not planning, scheduling, thinking about it, nothing like that. So here we have systems, everything that organizes and simplifies your work. Then proper skill set level, ideally the task has to be just a little bit more difficult. Then tools and environment, think about your software, a good computer, comfortable chair, total silence or ambient noise, whatever works for you. And last but not least is focus. Recently I made a video about my productivity setup on the iPhone, and I link it somewhere on the screen. In that video I mentioned that productivity for me is largely managing my focus. Therefore, all my notifications are off. Being distracted often feels like lazy because you get less done. Also, it requires a lot of energy. Overstimulation by all devices, events, thoughts is really not good for our brain. So here are 7 ways to improve your focus and hence your productivity. Number 1, know your distractions and prevent them. Do you know what distracts you? For me, that's notifications and noise. So what I do, I try to avoid them. I turn all notifications off, besides some messages from my friends and family. And when I work, I put my phone screen down, so I don't see that with my peripheral vision. I also turn off the Slack notifications and email notifications. I check email a couple times a day. I usually check Slack more often during my lunchtime or during my breaks. I know that I prefer to work in silence, so when I'm in the office or in some noisy environment, I put my noise-canceling headphones on with some instrumental music, because lyrics also distract me, or some binaural beats to cover the noise. Do your colleagues distract you? If they just wanted to chat, you can ask them to wait until you have a break, or if that's something really important, you can ask them to schedule something into your agenda. Number 2, organize your environment. Besides notification, you can get distracted by the fact that you couldn't find some files, or the cable to your monitor is not working, or the device that you need to do for your work has a dead battery. Make sure you have everything you need before you start working. This includes systems and frameworks such as checklists to figure out what you need to do in which order, some templates for the repeated work, for instance when you need to write a report with the same structure, or some folders with the necessary data. It might be useful to know how to use your software more efficiently, find some tips and tricks, perhaps shortcuts, and maybe some automation to reduce the mundane tasks. Also, it's important to have comfortable chair, fast computer, good monitor, and enough light. Number 3, know your productive time and block it in your calendar. Do you know when you're the most productive? Is it in the morning, after you have your 3rd coffee, maybe after lunch? If you don't, try different things and figure it out. When you know that, block a focused time in your calendar, ideally 2 to 3 hours, without any other meetings in between, any interruptions, nothing like that. You're blocking this time in your calendar as a meeting with yourself. You can check my video on calendar blocking tips, and I will link it somewhere on the screen. Number 4, take breaks. I read in a book, Hyperfocus, that apparently it's scientifically backed that the brain needs a 15-minute break after each hour of focused work. After every 60 to 90 minutes, have a break and do something not related to the task at hand. Go for a walk, hug a tree, chat to a colleague of yours, read a book, listen to a podcast. Do some exercises. Works perfectly when you're working from home, perhaps not so much if you're in an open space office. Number 5, avoid the trap of busy work. Well, we all have to deal with meetings and scheduling and calls and organization, and it might feel like we're making progress, but actually may not be the case. You can perhaps batch the busy work tasks in one time block it on your calendar, and do it as one big task, so that these things do not distract you from the focus work. Number 6, meditate and practice mindfulness. I know, everyone is talking about how meditation is good for you, how it solves all your problems, but in fact, this is true. Think about it. The sole idea of meditation often is to focus on your breath. When your mind wanders off, you gently bring it back to focusing on the breath. And like that, over time, it becomes easy to focus on one task at hand. You spend less energy getting your focus back, perhaps you become less distracted. That's exactly what we need to improve the focus. You don't have to spend an hour a day meditating. You can start small, with 1 or 2 minutes a day. Mindfulness is the act of being present in the moment. What's happening right now? How often when you drink coffee, you actually focus on the coffee? Its taste, texture, temperature, how the cup feels in your hands. I don't do it very often. What the idea is, you try to be present in the moment. And again, when your mind wanders off, you get back to that moment. Pause this video and think about, what are you doing right now? Are you sitting on the couch? Is it comfortable? What's the texture? What are you wearing? Are you warm? Are you cold? Are you eating anything at the moment? Are you holding your phone? How does that feel? Is the texture smooth? Being at the moment really helps you to get better focus. Meditation and mindfulness might take time, but doing it regularly will show its benefits. Number 7, make sure you feel well. It might sound obvious, but if you're sick, sleep deprived, or anxious about something, it becomes increasingly more difficult to focus. First of all, check the basics. Do you have enough sleep, water, nutritious food, exercise, and daylight? If not, please go and fix it. Don't be too hard on yourself. We all have bad days when we cannot do everything we want to. Do whatever you can and focus on your well-being. Getting more focus takes time, so please give yourself that time, and it will all work out in the end. Alright, that was it for this video. Do you have more tips on how to be focused? Please leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't yet. It will help me to grow this channel and to create more useful content for you. And I will see you next Monday.